Hey everybody, welcome to the Morning Devo with Bo. Super glad you can be with me today, August 18th. And I don't have my glasses today. What a trip. But anyway, welcome. First time ever that I don't have my glasses. So I'm going to have to use some spare reading glasses I had here at the office and to be able to read. But welcome to the Morning Devo. You could always check out the YouTube channel right there. And go to Bo Willette and you can check out all the archives. So there's many different archive books of the Bible, and this is a place where we actually go through books of the Bible. Can you believe it? But it's amazing when you go through books of the Bible, things start making sense about God, about the distance between God and human beings, why we go outside and God's not there, all kinds of things. We kind of start to get it. We start to understand. And then when we understand, we become more enlightened, more knowledgeable, illuminated. And then we become, okay, not so ignorant of maybe why the world's the way it is. So amazing, just going through the books of the Bible. Marcia, good to have you in the house this morning of Devo. It is 8:17, so I am in quite early today once again. But as you guys know, I've been kind of hanging out with my mom a bunch, and so going to get over there. And so I've been coming in just a titch early on the Devos, maybe an hour early it seems like. But for those that are up early, I know you guys are digging it. So my back is a little stiff today, and Marcia says, yes, stretch that back. Works wonders. That's right. So we got to get that back going. Yeah, just a little bit tight today, that's for sure. So Judges 12, it's going to pick up where we still see this guy Jephthah, and he is the judge of Israel. And what I mean by that is he's the one who's delivered Israel from her being Israel's enemies, right? Now remember, there's this continual allegory in the Bible of Israel being the bride of Yahweh. And this continues throughout this book where Israel goes and commits, prostitutes herself and, that kind of idea. Meaning going to other gods, getting involved with Molech or Chemosh or Baal and these other deities. And anyway, Japheth is a real interesting character, and we already have read about his, kind of life story in a way, and it's pretty radical. And here it continues by saying, then the men of Ephraim gathered together, crossed over toward Zaphon, and said to Jephthah, why did you cross over to fight against the people of Ammon, and did not call us to go with you? We will burn your house down on you with fire. Oh, man. Talk about patting you on the back for a good deed, right? I mean, gosh, haven't we all had that in life where, you think you did something right, but everybody's kind of bent at you? That's always a real rude awakening, isn't it? Where, you went out of your way, or you kind of thought, kind of good of yourself, and, because of that good deed, or you look at it and you go, man, I thought I was helping out the situation. But really, all these people are kind of upset and kind of voicing their displeasure with you. That can be a real disappointment. One good thing that we got to remember, first thing I should say in the Devo, is this. Hey, Tina, good to have you. Is that we have to do whatever we do unto the Lord. Whatever we do, we got to do it unto the Lord. Today, whatever I do, I need to have my heart checked and just go, hey, am I doing this unto the Lord? If I don't get a pat on the back, if I don't have people that thank me, if I don't get the gift card in the mail, if I'm not constantly be affirmed for my good deeds, am I okay? Am I going to be okay? Or is everything, all the things I do, quote, in Christ, really contingent on people giving me that pat on the back? Because you know what happens if it is, right? Then when you don't get the pat on the back, what do? You get upset, right? We get upset. And we start going, maybe I'm not appreciated. And that's when your church life can really become a drag. You start looking at everybody really critical within the church. You start looking at, you go on Sunday, and all you think about is, man, no one talked to me today. No one said hi. No one prayed with me. Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they do this? Isn't he supposed to be a minister? Isn't she supposed to be a servant of the Lord? And just you have this really negative thing. You know why? Because you're not doing anything for the glory of God, You're not doing anything like it says in the book of Colossians. Whatever you do, chapter 3, 17 and verse 22, both say the same thing. Whatever you do, do it unto the Lord, not unto people, not for some pat on the back. And this is where Jephthah needs to be strong in God, right? To be able to say, hey, Ephraimites, that tribe of Ephraim that always tends to rear its head in the book of Judges. I don't know if you've noticed that, but Ephraim's quite the squirrely, tribe. That's for sure. I don't know if they had a squirrel for their banner that represented them, like, the lion for the tribe of Judah. Maybe Ephraim's like a squirrel, because they are squirrely, man. They're all over the place. But here, Ephraim, another time in the book of Judges, first time I think was with Gideon, where the judge Gideon, where Ephraimites go, we wanted to go to war. We were ready to wreck shop on somebody, and you didn't call on us. Now we're upset. We're so upset that we're going to actually burn your house down. How about that? That's how bent we are. Wow. You thought Jephthah hung out with hardcore people, which he did. It says it was a band of, people who didn't have anything really going on in life, and they kind of banded together with Jephthah, who was kicked out of his own tribe. You thought those were kind of the crew. Well, now you have another crew that sounds like another gang, man, that's going to burn down your house. I mean, talk about, crazy. So it's amazing, right? We got to do things under the Lord. And Jephthah said to them, by the way, I dig these glasses that I'm wearing. These things are amazing. I can't find mine, but these at least are helping me read this thing. And I'm using the large print Bible, by the way. And Jephthah said to them, my people and I were in great struggle with the people of Ammon. So he just says, hey, we were in great struggle. We were in battles. And I like that. That's some honesty. Hey, I got to be some honest. What is my great struggle? What am I battling? What is, hey, me and my brothers, we were in great battle. I love that. Hey, this is what we were doing. It was a battle. And nothing's wrong with saying that. What is your battle that you fight? Hey, it's good to be honest like that. It says, and when I called you, you did not deliver me out of their hands. So, hey, I did call, but you guys didn't come, and you didn't certainly deliver me out of their hands. So when I saw that you would not deliver me, I took my life in my hands and crossed over against the people of Ammon, and the Lord delivered them into my hand. Why then have you come up to me this day to fight against me? I love this. He kind of uses the word of the Lord here. Hey, Kurt. He says, hey, you didn't deliver me out of their hands, but the Lord delivered me out of their hands. And I like that he goes back to using the Lord's name. And sometimes I think in our life too, it's best that we sometimes just go back to, hey, this is what God's doing in my life, and just kind of bring people, whoever we're talking to, back to, our context with God. That, some people won't get that. And some people, maybe the Ephraimites, are going to go, man, dude, that's lame. Dude, what a lame thing. I mean, we wanted to fight with you. You said you came to us. I don't remember you coming to us. Now you're saying the Lord delivered, them into your hands, the enemy into your hands. We could have helped you out, But Jephthah just keeps going back to, hey, the Lord delivered us out of the hands of the enemy. And, we tried to call on you. It didn't happen. So he's using some diplomacy, which is kind of beautiful, keeping the focus on God and what God did. You think the Ephraimites would be stoked, right? Sometimes you think people are going to be pretty excited with that answer. And so Jephthah asked the questions, why have you come to fight with me and fight against me right now? And Jephthah gathered together all the men of Gilead and fought against Ephraim. Whoa, dude, Ephraim did not back down. So Ephraim didn't go, you know what? That's right. The Lord delivered you out of the hand of the enemies, Ammon. So, you know what? Praise God. Let's go worship the Lord. Let's bring a sacrifice to the Lord. Let's draw near to Yahweh. You think that would happen? Nope, didn't. Right? Instead, it becomes an all-out conflict. This is tough, right, in our lives where, the New Testament tells us that as much as it depends on us to live at peace with all people. You might have heard that passage. As much as it depends on us, live at peace with all people. So the Christian is always wanting to live at peace. We're trying to live at peace. But sometimes, man, this conflict just keeps coming up, and it cannot be avoided. We try to deflect, maybe we try to dismantle in our negotiation process, like Jephthah, which is a good thing. I think Jephthah does a fairly good job of his diplomacy, but Ephraim comes at him with violence. And notice what Jephthah does. Jephthah's a warrior, man. Ephraim's, they have a band of warriors. Jephthah's definitely a warrior himself. And here you have, in a sense, a gang fight, right? That's coming on the scene. And it says, and the men of Gilead defeated Ephraim. Okay, so Jephthah defeated the Ephraim band that came against him. And they defeated Ephraim because they said, quote, you Gileadites are fugitives of Ephraim among the Ephraimites and among the Manassites. So they basically said, man, you guys are a bunch of lowlifes. We're going to get you. We're going to, that kind of idea. Oh, man. It sounds so like, my junior high life. I mean, it really does. My junior high life, in Southern Cal, 7, 8, 9, you got your Heschers. We had a bunch of, that's all heavy metal dudes. We're all in a band together. We're all kind of hanging out together like a little mini gang of ruckus people. I think of our biggest guy, Jim Cherry. God rest his soul, man. That guy was huge. And we had these times in the locker rooms where we would, mosh and play Metallica tunes and just create a ruckus, right? And it was just crazy. Or we ride our bikes everywhere and do just horrible things, man. We just go crazy. We were like free spirits, And, you put people down and, things like what the Ephraimites are saying, because you Gileadites, you guys are fugitives, man. Your mom's a prostitute. And yeah, she was. Jephthah was like, yeah, okay. But they just constantly went at, Ephraim constantly went at Jephthah and his band of his crew. And so finally Jephthah says, hey, okay, we'll have this out. And Jephthah and his crew wins. But it just reminds me of those junior high days, man, where it's just, conflict, it seems like all the time. You never know what's going to happen, right? So, hey, Paula, it's good to have you in the House of Devo today. So, man, definitely try to avoid. We want to live at peace with all people, but sometimes it ain't going to happen. Then the Gileadites seized the fords of the Jordan before the Ephraimites arrived. And when any Ephraimite who escaped said, let me cross over, the men of Gilead would say to him, are you an Ephraimite? So check this out. Jephthah gets his crew at this area, this specific area that needed to be crossed. As the Edomites would learn of this battle that's going on with Jephthah and the Gileadites, they're coming over. They got to cross in this area, and it says, when any Ephraimite who escaped said, let me cross over, the men of Gilead would say to him, are you an Ephraimite? And he said. So I guess it was like during the battle, right? The people would leave the battle, try to flee, and there would be this one specific area they needed to cross over. And there would be Jephthah's people there saying, hey, are you an Ephraimite? And he said, if he said no, then they would say to him, then say Shibboleth. And he would say Sibboleth, for he could not pronounce it right. So the SH sound was something that was difficult for certain people, obviously, in Israel to say. And so it says, then they would take him and kill him at the fords of the Jordan. And there fell, check this out, there fell 42,000 Ephraimites. 42,000 brothers. 42,000 family members of Israel put to death. Oh, man. The judges weren't they supposed to judge those that were the enemies of Israel from without Israel? From outside of the commonwealth of the 12 tribes? Yeah. Right? There was outside enemies. Enemies that would creep in or be in their areas, but they were not into Yahweh at all. Those were the enemies. But here you have your own relatives, close relatives, being an enemy from within. Oh man, gosh, God, help me to deal good with the enemies from without, and help me to deal well with the enemies from within. In my own life, there's enemies that are without. There's things in the world that come against you. There's industries that are literally all set up for your failure and my failure. Isn't that amazing? All things are set up not for your betterment, but so much things, I shouldn't use the word all, but many things are set up for your utter failure. Right? Isn't that sad? Yeah, things are set up in a way where they know you're going to fail. They know you're going to buy it. They know you're going to click it. They know that you're going to do those things. They know you're going to make your body unhealthy. They know that's going to happen to us. They set up everything based on what is already known. Oh man, enemies without. What a system, right? Do not love the world or the things in the world. And this is what it means. The world system, the one that is not for the things of God, not for loving your neighbor, not for loving those in life. And they might say it. We might say it as human beings in our systems. Oh, we're loving you. We're really helping you. But really, oh, it's all a sleight of hand. It's all a sleight of hand. We'll help you over here, but we'll create the problem over here. You know, oh man, enemies from without. But then there's enemies from within, right? Then there's my own, what? Greed. No one's forcing me to buy the thing, right? No one's putting a gun to my head and saying, purchase that. No one's forcing me to click that. No one's doing that. It's me. It's something within that's moving in that direction. Isn't that interesting? Enemies from without and enemies from within. And here Jephthah has to deal with this. You know, God help us today to deal with these properly, you know, in a way that would honor you. Help us to be at peace, to have serenity, to be content, to be at peace with little, to not be filled with greed and envy and strife and all those things that can create so many different problems in life. 42,000 Ephraimites fell. Probably one of the more sadder passages in the book of Judges for sure. And Jephthah judged Israel 6 years, and Jephthah the Gilead died and was buried among the cities of Gilead. Okay, so 6 years he judged. Doesn't sound like there was a ton of peace during the time. Obviously they had civil war. And then it says, after him Ibzan of Bethlehem judged Israel. He had 30 sons, and he gave away 30 daughters in marriage and brought in 30 daughters from elsewhere for his sons. And he judged Israel 7 years. Then Ibzan died and was buried at Bethlehem. That's all we get is this guy Ibzan of Bethlehem. He did judge Israel, and he did it for 7 years. And all we know about him is he had a bunch of sons, and he had a bunch of daughters. 30 sons and 30 daughters. How do you have 30 kids? 30 sons and 30 daughters. That's 60. How does that work? How does one woman have 60 kids? Can anybody kind of help me with that one? Anybody got an idea? That means you'd have to be having babies for at least 60 years. And I'm not sure if he had them back to back to back to back or twins, if how it worked. But that seems pretty improbable, right? So Ibzan, we could kind of think that maybe he had more than one wife going on at the time. Yeah, so again, problems, right? The judges, yeah. People of God, yep. Servants of God, yeah, absolutely. Used by God, mightily, powerfully used by God. Faithful, absolutely. Trusted Yahweh, yep. And everything, nope. Yep, a lot like you, right? A lot like me. Oh, man. So he judged Israel 7 years. And after him, Elon the Zebulunite. Hey, good old Zebulun, the tribe of Zebulun gets in. Remember, 12 tribes of Israel, right? Zebulun was one of the tribes. Judged Israel. He judged Israel 10 years. Okay, so we got 10 years now. So we had 6 years of Jephthah. We had 7 of Ibzan. And we have Elon judging not 7 years, or 10 years. And Elon the Zebulunite died and was buried in Ajalon in the country of Zebulun. Okay, so there you go. Not much mentioned of him either. After him, Abdon, the son of Hillel, the Parathonite, judged Israel. He had 40 sons and 30 grandsons. Whoa, 40 sons. Woo, that's some sons. How many daughters? I'm not sure, but I'm sure quite a bit. And 30 grandsons who rode on 70 young donkeys. Whoa, they had a ton of donkeys. I guess that's like having a lot of, Toyotas back then. And he judged Israel 8 years. 8 years. And Abdon, the son of Hillel, died and was buried in Parathon in the land of Ephraim. Ephraim comes up again in the mountains of the Amalekites. Wow. So you have these 3 minor kings mentioned back to back to back. Even though they're minor, they certainly aren't minor, right? Here you have what was it, 10 years? You have one doing 10 years, 7 years, and the other one, it says judged Israel 8 years. So you see that they were used during those periods of time. So they certainly weren't minor in how they were being used by God. And my point is basically this, is you might think you're minor, but you're really pretty major. You might think you're little, but really God is doing a great thing in you. You might think you're not that important in the body of Christ, but you're very important in the body of Christ. So sometimes when we think we're minor, we really look on the page and we go, man, dude, I'm major. You have an influence in people's lives. Maybe it's your kids' lives. That you might not think that you have much influence in their lives, but you do. You have a great influence in their lives. So it might be people around you, your brothers and sisters in the Lord, or just people that you know in your life, but you do have a great influence in their life. You do impact them in major ways. And I want to remember that this morning, that, hey, I might be minor in the grand scheme of things in this world. Nobody in this world knows Bo. But you know what? It's like maybe God's using me in major ways. Maybe when I get to heaven, God will say, hey, Bo, man, this is how you impacted your world during your time. And it'll be much different than what I think, And I just got to remember that I got to trust God, and God is doing something in me. I'm going to trust that today. And I just want to be faithful with the little that he gives me, and just take it minute by minute, day by day, just staying faithful to the call, to the things I can do. So, you might think you're minor, but you're really major, right? And you see all of them, all the judges. I don't know if there's one of them that's got it all together, right? Everyone has it all tweaked, and they're all a little messed up, right? And so, hey, Christian, maybe we need to be a little more humble, right? And go, maybe we don't got it all together either. So, hey, you guys have a great day. So fun getting into the Word with you this morning. Thank you for putting up with my granny glasses. They worked awesome. You guys take care, okay? Bye-bye.